I don't feel very good.
Shut up, Butters. It's your own damn fault.
Everything's getting dark.
We gotta hurry this up.
Number 20. Mountains of hate mail. As much as the internet has connected us together, it's also brought out the darker side of some people. No one saw this part of the web more than our beloved Butters.
Butters, it's your job to make sure Eric has a safe space.
Roped into filtering Cartman's social media, Butters quickly becomes a human sieve for the likes of Steven Seagal and Demi Lovato.
Oh, God, that's terrible. Jesus.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, Tracy, it's the greatest thing ever.
His days become filled with cherry-picking only the nicest of comments in a sea of trolls and rage across the internet. The weight of so much negativity takes a physical toll on him as he eventually succumbs to sleep deprivation and paranoia, ultimately putting him in the hospital. No one should ever have to sift through that much anger.
Jeez. Delete that too.
Number 19. Being tormented by his grandma. Butters is sweeter than butterscotch candy, but the rest of his family is beyond sour.
What's up? Huh? You think you're tough, huh?
I just don't want you to pick on me no more, Grandma.
While it's debatable which family member is the most despicable, Butters' grandma takes the most delight in seeing him suffer. Although she appears nurturing on the surface, Grandma Stotch verbally and physically mistreats Butters when nobody's looking.
No, Grandma, knock it off. No, stop it.
Put it in your mouth.
This torment ranges from taking Butters' lunch money to giving him gummy bears. Not even Professor Chaos is a match for this granny. After beating up Dr. Oz, Butters summons the courage to get real with his grandma. As blunt as his words might be, Butters also expresses pity for his grandma, telling her that she's empty inside and will die soon. You know, even when he's bitter, Butters comes off as fairly sweet.
And when you're laying in that hospital bed with tubes up your nose and that little pan under your butt to pee in, I'll come visit you. I'll come just to show you that I'm still alive and I'm still happy. And you'll die being nothing but you.
Number 18. Getting dumped by Lexus.
Hey guys,
Whoa.
how are we doing this afternoon?
Good.
As a kid, Butters can be forgiven for not understanding the nuances of romantic relationships. After meeting a waitress at the local Raisins restaurant, a clear parody of the Hooters franchise, Butters mistakenly takes Lexus's flirtatious gestures as genuine affection. After several visits to the eatery, he unwittingly comes to believe they're now in a relationship. This all comes crashing down when his parents come with him to meet his girlfriend, and she makes it crystal clear it was never real.
What are you talking about, kid? We are not boyfriend and girlfriend.
What? Lexus, what are you saying?
As a viewer, we all knew where this was heading. But that doesn't make it any easier to see innocent little Butters have his heart broken. Thankfully, he's a lot more mature than most when it comes to breakups, and sees the beauty in loss.
So I have to take the bad with the good. So I guess what I'm feeling is like a beautiful sadness.
Number 17. A Flatulent Fiasco.
Come on, guys, we gotta go!
We're finally gonna learn the shocking truth of who Philip farted on. Get to my house!
Both film and television have always found new and interesting ways to laugh at natural bodily functions, particularly flatulence. So of course, South Park took this and put a far more female-centric spin on the classic fart joke. Butters inadvertently becomes the target and is subjected to a blast directly to his face. Screaming in terror, he runs out of the school, and the next time we see him, he's in bed with an ice pack strapped to his head.
Oh.
Hey, Butters. How you holding up, man?
It's only made worse by the fact that he becomes the literal face of a movement against this supposedly heinous act. For something so innocent, Butters certainly seems to have taken it pretty hard.
They have power and they have courage.
And we must all stand by the belief.
Number 16. Talk show fraud. This time around, the joke is on Butters when the boys persuade him to pose as a kid who has a very particular male body part growing from his chin.
Wait, Butters' chin? Yeah, but that's me. I'm Butters.
We know, you're the one doing it, Butters. Who'd you think we were talking about?
Well, now, hold on just a second, you guys.
Appearing on Maury, Butters learns there's a union of other individuals with unique pieces of anatomy who make a living doing talk shows. Their disdain for impersonators forces Butters to perpetuate the lie to an unhealthy degree for fear of retribution from his newfound compatriots. What starts as just a joke soon spirals out of control, as Butters must continue to perpetuate the lie or be exposed as a fraud.
Hey, things actually turned out okay for me this time.
Butters?
Oh, I know.
Number 15. Receiving treatment for seeing ghosts. Butters is no stranger to hospitals, having wound up in critical condition after being tormented by Trent Boyette.
He received a massive snuggie. His underwear pulled up so high it nearly killed him.
His most horrific hospital experience, however, has to be this trip to a mental health facility. Convinced that Cartman is a ghost and he's the only one who can see him, Butters undergoes severe tests to uncover any past trauma. Ironically, the treatment leaves him far more scared than he was before checking in. To get to the center of his trauma, Butters is notably forced to endure a probe. We're not claiming to be medical professionals, but we don't think there's any correlation between a person's brain and butt in this scenario.
Butters. Don't worry, Butters. I'm gonna get you out of here.
Please leave me alone, Eric. My bottom is really sore.
Making matters worse, Cartman keeps haunting Butters until it's revealed he's still alive.
You told me I was a ghost!
But I thought you were one.
How stupid are you?
Number 14, being misinformed about the birds and the bees.
I was having happy dreams about a girl.
All right, Butters, it's happy feelings. Let's just not talk about it.
When it comes to learning about the birds and the bees, we all know how embarrassing the talk can be. Both parents and kids alike often feel awkward discussing the realities of what happens to our bodies as we grow up. So, as Butters clearly mistakes his own bodily functions for something more innocent, we can't help but feel both grossed out and sympathetic.
Well, everyone has a creamy feeling, Eric. And some people have so much of that feeling that it comes out sometimes.
Unlike other entries on this list, Butters' misfortune here is less about physical embarrassment and more about how blindly innocent he is. Ignorance may be blissful, but in this instance, it comes at a price.
And you can just sit here in your room and think about what you've done.
Number 13, getting beaten up by Babay. As the seasons have passed, one consistent thing about Butters has been his happy-go-lucky attitude.
Hi, Mr. David.
Well, Butterscotch, how you doing there, Butters? How's the brand going?
Professor Chaos aside, he's a kid who, despite everything on this list, still seems to find a way to put a smile on his face. Yet for some reason, he felt the need to get help with his brand management.
You'll see, Kyle. When you have your brand up and running, no one can stop you.
In Season 26's The Worldwide Privacy Tour, Butters tries changing his image to better fit in at school and falls flat on his face. After spouting obscenities at Babay, she delivers a brutal beatdown, resulting in torn clothing and a black eye.
Yeah, everyone likes a guy that's strong and assertive.
Come on, Butters, we all like who you are. Please don't try to change. Number 12, getting an unfortunate mustache. We've all heard the story about putting someone's hand in water while they're asleep.
Hey, have you guys ever seen this trick? When someone's sleeping, you can take a glass of warm water and you put their hand in it. Yeah, and then what? And then you pee on it.
Apparently, Cartman didn't get the right version of this myth when he decided to prank Butters just prior to a ski trip to Aspen. Relieving himself, Cartman gets his laughs in, but it doesn't stop there.
Wow, a ski trip with my new best buddies. Oh, I'm all sticky.
When he finally gets to the resort, Cartman amps up his prank by placing an incredibly dirty mustache on Butters while he's asleep.
Hey, little dude, you got some crap right here.
Butters is utterly clueless as he walks and skis around the resort, all while complaining about the bad smell. It is the worst case of being the butt of a joke. Number 11, being sold to Paris Hilton by his parents. Butters' parents are usually at the root of his misfortune.
You are grounded, mister!
I'm sorry.
And of all the terrible things they've done to their son, this is undoubtedly among the most bizarre. Seeing Butters dressed as a bear with Paris Hilton, Stephen and Linda's first instinct is to ground him as per usual. The two have a change of tune when they remember how much money Paris is worth, but not even they would sell their child to her. That is, not for anything less than $250 million.
Well, your offer is enticing. I'm afraid we just can't sell you our son for $200 million. It'll have to be $250 million, cash, up front.
Oh, hamburgers!
Upon learning what happened to Paris's other pets, Butters rightfully makes a break for it. The deal is taken off the table when Paris finds a new residence inside Mr. Slave, but Butters is still grounded for his trouble.
Well, Butters, I hope you're happy.
I'm a bad bear. I'm a very bad old bear.
You're a grounded old bear.
Number 10, getting harassed by his psychiatrist.
There are several distinct personalities going on in there. One is named Postman Butters, and yet another is Fireman Butters.
One of the most innocent things kids do is play pretend. Whether it's a superhero or a firefighter, children love to use their imagination to explore all walks of life. Butters is no different. As a carefree kid, he enjoys playing as Inspector Butters or even Professor Chaos. But since his parents have no clue, he's misdiagnosed as having dissociative identity disorder, or multiple personality disorder as it was called in those days. Unlike Butters, however, his psychiatrist actually does have this condition and repeatedly torments him with an assortment of personalities.
Is one of your other personalities trying to take over?
Let's play Battleship. All hands on the poop deck.
Your soul will bleed for eternity!
From chasing him on a tricycle to forcing him to rob a jewelry store, the ever-expanding list of characters puts poor Butters through the ringer.
You'll never turn me in, Inspector Butters! You're dead!
Number 9. Being tricked into believing it's the apocalypse. Besides his parents, a majority of Butters' misery stems from Cartman.
We've got to find a bomb shelter.
Where's there a bomb shelter?
Stan's Uncle Jimbo. He has a bomb shelter in his backyard. Come on, Butters, hurry!
To take his place at Kyle's birthday, Cartman informs Butters that a meteor is on a collision course for Earth and tricks him into hiding in a bomb shelter. Cartman has to keep up the charade longer than expected, making Butters think that the world has ended and everyone he's ever loved is gone.
Butters! Ah! Butters! Oh God, it was horrible.
What happened?
The meteor struck the Earth sooner than I predicted. There was no time.
All the while, Butters' parents and the rest of the town are sent into a panic. When Butters finally learns what's really going on, the duped expression on his face is both one of the funniest and one of the saddest things you'll ever see.
Town is right over there, everybody is fine, and I think they've been looking for you for over a week.
And we'd just like to reiterate that Cartman did all of this just to go to a restaurant.
Was it worth it?
Totally.
Number 8. Being forced to gain weight. Kenny used to die in almost every episode, and when Butters temporarily took his place in season 6, he too was regularly put in hazardous situations.
That's my whole point. First we fatten him up, then we make the deal with City Walk, then take the weight back off.
For starters, the boys made him gain an unhealthy amount of weight as part of a get-rich-quick scheme. When Butters can't lose weight fast enough, they perform totally unsafe and illegal liposuction surgery in his living room.
I don't feel very good.
Shut up, Butters, it's your own damn fault.
Everything's getting dark.
We gotta hurry this up.
After getting abandoned by his so-called friends mid-surgery, Butters is scorned by his parents, who won't even help their visibly unwell son up to his room.
Don't you give us that look, young man. You're gonna get it.
If you think there's nowhere to go but up after this ordeal, guess again. Cartman later impersonates Butters on the phone with his parents, resulting in a beating that, while taking place off-screen, was clearly brutal.
Hi, Mom and Dad.
Don't you hi, Mom and Dad, us, you little punk!
Oh, Dad.
You don't even know the trouble you're in, mister!
What'd I do?
Do you think you're tough now? Answer me!
Number 7. Being sent to a conversion therapy camp. Through a series of misunderstandings, Steven catches an oblivious Butters with his mouth in range of Cartman's downstairs.
Oh my God, my only son reduced to this!
Even though Steven has done his fair share of experimenting, he decides to send Butters to a so-called conversion therapy camp for bi-curious boys. It goes about as well as you'd expect. The more Butters is told he's just confused, the more confused he becomes.
What's wrong? This is what makes you confused! Don't you get it? This is confusing you right now, isn't it?
Yes, it's all very confusing.
As bad as we feel for Butters throughout this episode, we feel even worse for his accountability Bradley and all the other boys being repressed at the camp. While Butters doesn't entirely understand what's going on, he nonetheless gives an empowering speech that shows Bradley it's okay to be yourself, and the only ones who are really confused are the counselors.
You know what I think? I think maybe you're the ones who are confused.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be confused anymore just because you say I should be. My name is Butters. I'm 8 years old, I'm blood type O, and I'm bi-curious.
Number 6. Wetting himself on stage. Stage fright. Even the most famous performers in the world can get a case of nerves. It's talent show time in South Park, and Butters has been busy practicing in his garage.
Lou, 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 I've got some apples. Lou, 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 you've got some too. Lou, 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 let's get together. I know what we can do, Lou, Lou.
After giving Jimmy some advice on how best to deal with the perils of adolescence, he's ready to do his little song and dance number at the competition.
Lou, 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 I've got some.
The music comes on, he starts to sing, and then it all goes blank. Overcome with anxiety, he loses bladder control, and the last thing we see is him running off stage as Garrison cleans up the mess. It's a performance he'll unfortunately never forget. Number 5. Being forced to fake his own demise. To infiltrate Heidi's slumber party, one of the boys must fake his death and go undercover as a girl.
One of us is going to have to go undercover. show up in school tomorrow disguised as the new girl who just moved to town.
Since Kenny dies constantly, you'd think he'd be the natural choice. But instead, Butters draws the short straw. As their son stands atop a building, Stephen and Linda don't help the situation by saying that they'll only ground him for a couple of weeks if he comes down.
Butters! Butters, whatever's troubling you, this isn't the answer. Look at all these people who've come out for you. Just come down now, son, and we promise we won't ground you for more than a couple weeks.
As awful as Butters' parents are, they are heartbroken when the pig cadaver standing in for their son hits the pavement. This grief leads them to resurrect Butters' Pet Cemetery style. When Butters shows up alive and well, his parents assume they've created a monster and chain him in the basement where he can eat.
Can I please just have something to eat? Well, I'm pretty hungry.
It's hungry.
Yes, it must feed.
Number 4, living with tap dancing trauma. Being a victim is one thing, but living with the guilt of accidentally hurting others can also be traumatic. In this episode, we learn that Butters was once a tap dancing champion, but he vowed never to perform again after a tragedy. The tragedy in question saw Butters' shoe fly off mid-performance, causing a gore-filled accident that claimed 8 lives. Well, 11 if you want to get technical. After years of feeling remorse, Butters is given the confidence to put his tap shoes back on and compete again. So what happens the minute he steps back into the spotlight? History repeats itself and the rival dance team perishes. The good news? South Park wins by default. The bad news? Butters is more emotionally scarred than ever.
That means the winner is the South Park Diggities! Yeah!
All right, we did it!
Number 3, getting a ninja star thrown in his eye. Typically, it's Kenny who would find himself with a ninja star in his eye. In this case, though, it's Kenny who throws the weapon at Butters. While Butters miraculously survives and isn't permanently blinded, the pain he endures throughout the episode is more than we can bear.
The hell did you do that for, Kenny?
As if the initial blow isn't agonizing enough, the boys cook up a half-baked scheme to dodge trouble by dressing Butters up as a dog. Believe it or not, the plan works, and all the medical professionals in town mistake Butters for a canine.
Right over here. Good dog, come on. There you go, right in there. Good dog.
Well, what do you expect from people who can't tell the difference between a boy and a squirrel?
The giant squirrel, which was picked up last week by animal control, apparently now thinks it's a person.
Nobody is punished for hurting Butters, but Cartman does have to answer for his wardrobe malfunction.
You see the damage you've caused, Eric Cartman? What were you thinking?
I told you it was a wardrobe malfunction.
Number 2, forced allergic reaction. According to the Mayo Clinic, anaphylaxis is, quote, a severe, potentially life-threatening allergic reaction. People all over the world can experience this terrible condition when exposed to various allergens. Apparently, Butters is one of those people. Instead of revealing the truth about what Cartman is up to, Butters swallows an almond M&M he clearly knows he's allergic to, and ends up hospitalized.
Don't make me swallow this! I'll do it!
Is that an M&M?
It's an almond M&M. I'm very allergic to almonds.
Cartman confronts him, and while Butters swears he kept his secret, Cartman feeds him more candy in an attempt to silence him.
Shh, it's okay, Butters. Nobody's gonna find the election ballots. I have them hidden away somewhere nobody would ever look.
It is cold, it is cruel, and it is heartless. We don't get to see the aftermath, but given how severe the first dose was, we can assume a second round was far more traumatizing. Number 1, being left to drown by his mother. Butters' first standalone episode is also probably his darkest. While Butters' tragic home life had previously been hinted at, this one took things to depraved new territory.
Inspector Butters gets all the facts. I even got some neato pictures.
Finding out that Stephen, or Chris as he was originally called, has been seeking some extracurricular fun outside of their marriage with men, a distressed Linda prepares to take her own life. Unwilling to leave her son without a mother, however, she decides that the most rational thing to do is abandon Butters in a sinking automobile.
I'm going to get out of the car now, Butters. I want you to stay put with your seatbelt fastened.
Oh, well, all right, Mom. Okay, then. You know, I think the car might be moving, Mom.
While Butters makes it out alive and Linda quickly regrets her actions, this doesn't change the fact that she attempted to drown her son. Even after confessing on television, however, there are no ramifications whatsoever. South Park has the worst child protective services ever, and Butters is Exhibit A.
I was going to gay movie and bathhouses and having sex with random men who were complete strangers.
Yeah. Wait, what?
And when I found out, I went crazy. I went crazy and I drove my son into the lake to kill him.
Kill me? Jesus Christ!
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.